So, family, let's talk about the media being hypocrites on Shedeur Sanders' so-called arrogance versus Cam Skattebo and Jaxson Dart's excellent swag. Let's talk about it.
Gotta move it back. Move it back. Dart, design run. Up the middle he goes.
Yeah, that part. And all of a sudden, the clock ran around the room and everything was just right. Man, we gotta talk about it. Give me my goddamn theme song. So YouTube family, you know what's crazy, family? Every single time Shedeur Sanders shows any slide of confidence, anytime he shows confidence, celebrates a win, or even just carries himself like a star, as well, the way a star should, the media flips the switch and calls him arrogant, unprofessional, or quote unquote not humble. And I just got to say this loud and clear. That's not about football. It's about race. Because first of all, I love Jaxson Dart and Cam Skattebo. I love them celebrating. I love everything about it. I love any players who celebrate. That's the real passion. Someone who loves their profession and they don't take themselves serious, because the paying customer, which is the advocate football fan, you're paying hard-earned money to go watch, quote unquote, what Dylan Gabriel said, an entertainer. And that's their job, not only to win games, but to entertain the audience. So I have no issues with Cam and Jaxson Dart. They're welcome to the barbecue. But let's talk about what's actually crazy. Because if we're keeping it 100, 1000, if we're keeping it 100, ladies and gentlemen, when white players like Jaxson Dart or Cam Skattebo do the exact same thing, they're celebrated. I mean, when they do it, they're celebrated. When they celebrate, dance, or talk to their, particular talk they do, they get praised. They change their slurs a little bit, kind of sound like one of the brothers, in which we like it. I don't call that cosplaying, but it does count as cosplaying if you're doing it only because you know the media are going to praise you while denigrating others. I'm not trying to pick and choose. It's uncomfortable to see certain outlets do this when Could you imagine if Shedeur Sanders did that? All he did was a legendary status, and Rex Ryan and all these so-called wannabe clans, they're getting mad. The good old boys club doesn't like it. I think Skip Bayless had something to say where he intervened, and he said it best. We're going to look at Skip Bayless on what he had to say, because I actually liked it, what he broke down about this.
That's where, when Jaxson Dart scored the other day, he did some funky chicken. Jackie, that's where.
The good old boys clubs have always dictated who can dance, who can't dance, who's a criminal, all because they celebrated an enjoyment, something that's a game, a sport, but they don't break it down like this. They're telling you this is who we are. We're not humble people. Well, I pay attention to all that. Whether you think it's me being petty or not, the truth is supposed to cut like a sword. Don't get mad at me because of that, because if we're keeping it 1,000, it is about race, and it's always about that. That's all it's been. You know what I mean? These other players get praised, or they call it showing passion. He's a competitor. He's having fun out there. But when Shedeur Sanders, a black player, does it, it's suddenly a problem with leadership. It's the same double standards we've seen in every era of sports and society itself. Look at how the New York Post was the first to start running those shady headlines about Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders. Oh, I didn't forget them. Let me post them up right quick, because I'm going to show you the same people from the New York Post who couldn't stand Shedeur. They're the same ones, ladies and gentlemen. Look what they're showing. Jackson thrive, and they're going crazy for Cam. This is the same salacious publication that has allowed racists upon racists to attack melanated people for well over 5 decades. This is being honest with you. And they even defend the racism. The New York Post, ladies and gentlemen, all of a sudden, they don't have an issue with dancing quarterbacks and running backs who do black flips, or running backs who rip off their shirts. Could you imagine Shedeur rips off his shirt and he does this? They'll call him an animal. They've already called us an animal. The same people in the comment sections who, during the draft process, Shedeur needs to be more humble. Guys can't win football games with players who think of self, and all these self-righteous, racist mayos in the comment sections. And if you're not a racist mayo, I'm not speaking about you, but you guys seen them. The comment sections was created for racist mayo people who don't like us so they can hide and claim what they're claiming here. That's why 80% of the comments on any videos, particular videos like this, are filled with these races. It's just factual. Don't get mad at me. It's the place where you thrive at to talk crazy about grown men and women who aren't bothering anybody. Like I told you guys, it's the same double standards we have to be consumed with. Like I told you, the New York Post was the first to start running those shady headlines about both Shedeur and Deion not being humbled. The same paper that called Shedeur too flashy, that mocked his watch flex. Remember that? They're the same ones who celebrate when white athletes show that same exact energy. That ain't a coincidence. That's a pattern. Where is Bomani Jones to critique Cam and your guy Jaxson Dart? You know what Bomani Jones is doing? He's stepping and fetching and claiming that he enjoys seeing this. It's something great to see guys celebrating again. Yet he was the guy saying Shedeur was too flashy, because Bomani Jones is nothing more than a stepping fetching.
Dumbo with the
Rest in peace to Paul Mooney. I done seen a raccoon named Bumani and Chris Carter fly high. Well, I done seen a dancing step infection fly high. Rest in peace to Paul Mooney. It's just embarrassing because the things they do and they get away with, you're not allowed to speak about it. You're not allowed to call it out. And we're called the bad guys. They can dance, be flashy as ever as could be, and nothing skips a beat. No one skips a beat. There isn't any rhetoric in the comment sections about these are not the type of players you want on the team. It's a pattern that's been going on for decades. I'm not using this to only speak on Shedeur Sanders. I'm using Shedeur Sanders as an example for the rest of us and my kids and your kids, because they too, if they continue to proceed on their career path in sports, they will go through this. And it's not just outside for sports only. This is bigger than football and deeper than football. It's bigger than sports and deeper than sports. It's in your workplace. You know, Alice doesn't like the fact that you work harder than her, but Alice is rewarded more than you simply because, well, she's Alice. She's herself, and you can't be yourself. That's why we have to have a code switch in our vernacular, the way we speak, all these type of rhetoric, the way we dress, even though we don't dress in a cladless sexual way like they do. But it's in the workplace, ladies and gentlemen. It's even in the military, if you want me to be honest. And I love all my military brethren, but it is true with the haircuts we got to take. I damn near have to be bald. But my homeboy Joey, he can have Shaggy and Shaggy's hair and never has to get a haircut. But we have to follow some type of foreign policy to make us behave. My daughter went to a certain private school where they claim braids aren't allowed at that school. My sons couldn't have braids and my daughters couldn't have braids. But you think this is a regular policy as if it wasn't really made and deemed for black people. These are actual truths that I speak. Don't get mad at me. Now listen, and you know you got ESPN. I got to get the football out here because I like showing ESPN. You got ESPN and NFL insiders pushing this story that NFL teams don't like Shedeur Sanders' personality or that he rubbed Brian Daboll the wrong way during interviews. You know Brian Daboll, the one who claimed he doesn't like quarterbacks who act a certain way, who claimed Shedeur was too arrogant. Well, he's the same guy who was praising Jaxson Dart celebration and Cam Skattebo's celebrations. Don't get celebration penalties. Meanwhile, when Odell Beckham, I know Brian Daboll wasn't there, but when Odell Beckham was doing backflips, the pundits got mad. When a lot of players do these celebrations, the pundits are always uncomfortable. But you heard what Brian Daboll said. I wish I can do that. Could it be you hate the black ones when they do it because you can't do it? Oops. BlessOne should be a therapist when it comes to racist insiders. Yep, I said that. But Brian Daboll, you heard what he said. Shedeur rubbed him the wrong way during the interviews. Let's pause on that. Brian Daboll, the same New York Giant coach who's been caught on camera celebrating and screaming in players' faces. Remember when he said, "That's my quarterback. That's our quarterback. That's who we want," like right in front of Russell Wilson? Why would you do that? It was a message sent at Russell Wilson and Jameis Wilson. Let's just be real about it. Don't sugarcoat nothing. These guys don't hide who they are. Factual. And watch a hit dog in the comment section starts barking the loudest with a certain fake profile. That's what most of them do anyway. They're obsessed with race and they're going to say, "I am," because I put the flashlight on the darkness. Now, Brian Daboll, listen, it says Shedeur Sanders, that's what he claims, isn't professional. Come on now. That's not about professionalism. That's about perception. Only perception. These folks don't like when black players like Shedeur Sanders knows their worth. They don't like when we walk into the room confident, when we speak our truths, or when we celebrate what we've earned. They want humility, but only from us. They want us to be the token boy that knows their place. You can't be that. I don't want to use arrogant, but there was a way, terminology you use for melanated dudes, and I'm uppity Negro. They don't want you to be that, because anything with confidence makes them think that. And you know what's even more wild? The same Brian Daboll and a bunch of these media conglomerates and outlets were just celebrating Jaxson Dart for doing the same thing they said Shedeur Sanders shouldn't do. Dart scores a touchdown, he beats his chest, and the dance emojis come along. Am I lying about that? It's like some of the best dances we haven't seen in a while. Look at that. Your boy Jaxson is out here, man. He's celebrating. He's feeling good, and it looks good too. I want my quarterback to be confident like this, but we can't do the same thing. We just can't. Dart scores a touchdown, beats his chest, dances. They call it swagger. Shedeur does it. He's immature. Ain't that right, Rex Ryan, Chris Carter? That's not about football. That's about how they see us. Not just the movie when they see us. No, in reality, that's how they see us, through their insecurities. Even Tom Brady, man, the GOAT himself, he said he doesn't like quarterbacks who celebrate the way Shedeur celebrates. He didn't use Shedeur's name, but we knew who he was talking about during the atmosphere and climate where he failed to draft his protege, which is Shedeur Sanders. And we've already debunked that. He lied and lied and lied. And me and Skip Bayless, we exposed him already through his rhetoric. He absolutely controls the movements of player personnels with the Las Vegas Raiders, ladies and gentlemen. But Tom Brady, this guy, but he wasn't saying that when Joe Burrow was doing his dances. He wasn't saying that when Josh Allen was running people over and screaming in their faces. It's only a problem when confident black players does it. This is factual. Let's be real. Shedeur Sanders represents something bigger than Colorado football, something bigger than Cleveland football, something bigger than Jackson State University. He represents young black men who finally get to celebrate their wins without apology. There will be no stepping fetching for Shedeur Sanders, and there will be no more dancing on the field for a group of people who don't like you, i.e. the tap dancers. The best tap dancer that God ever put on earth. That's what they think of you tap dancers. Yaza, boss. I got you, boss. I'll be a good player and a boy. I'll be quiet for you. This is what they want. But Shedeur represents something bigger. He represents young black men who finally get to celebrate their wins, ladies and gentlemen, without any apologies, like I told y'all. He represents the new generation of athletes who don't have to play yes, sir, yaza, sir, just to be accepted. And the media can't stand that. You absolutely better understand the trickology that they play on us. See, when white players like Jaxson Dart and Cam Skattebo show emotions, they see themselves in it. They see themselves in Cam and Jaxson. They really do. These haters and racists, they look at Jaxson and Cam as family members, people they could relate to, their kids, their culture, their reflection. But when they see black players like Shedeur Sanders doing it, you know, guys, it's their insecurities that start showing up, and it's always right on time. As Shedeur Sanders said, the insecurities of these races are always on perfect timing. You guys get what I'm saying? That's the true legendary essence of it. They can't help who they are. But when they see black players like Shedeur, it's like a friction of their imagination and their perceptions. That's why every time Shedeur Sanders shines, they find something negative to attach to it, or any other player who looks like Shedeur. Let's just be real. They don't want to admit it's racial, but deep down, we all know it is, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get it twisted. I actually like guys like Jaxson Dart and Cam Skattebo, as I said earlier. I love them. I love seeing them celebrate, have fun, the youthful energy that they got. I got a video of Cam on my channel right now. Go look it up. A year and a half ago, when I said he's better than a Dylan Edwards, when his team played off against Kansas State. I've always rooted for Cam. Go look at my videos. I like him. He does got swagger. But listen to me, guys. I love seeing them, the energy, but football should have personality. That's why I like them. It isn't race with us. It's race with these other people. But it's hypocritical that they can dance and flex without being judged, while Shedeur Sanders and others who look like him gets labeled a villain for doing the very same thing. So when you see Shedeur Sanders flexing that watch and walking with confidence or celebrating a big play, understand what that really means. That's not arrogance. That's a young black man refusing to let anybody dim his light nor dictate his narrative. You guys understand me? Nor dictate the narrative just because it makes some folks uncomfortable. Deal with it. That's your demons you have to fight. And maybe that's what really scares them. That Shedeur Sanders, me, DJ BlessOne, my supporters, and many other people who look like us, we don't need their approval. That's the confidence in who we are as a people. That's what we all represent. That's basically what we are representing, being melanated. Something powerful, something proudful. So yeah, Shedeur Sanders ain't humble. Other players are so-called not humble. Nah, bro. They're just not unapologetic. I mean, they're not apologetic for you guys. The truth is why you don't like him, why you don't like DJ BlessOne or my supporters. It's because we're unapologetically black and unapologetically confident and unapologetically great in the media. They better get used to it. Guys, I'm DJ BlessOne, the best one. Love your family, love your kids, and definitely, truly, indeed, stay blessed, guys.